As of March 2023, the Muslims have been the most targeted religious group in terms of hate crimes in England and Wales. In the aftermath of the Israeli incursions upon the Gaza Strip, many Muslims and many activists have come out showing their solidarity with the Palestinian cause. A reported 500,000 people taking to the streets in London. 2 million people reported in Indonesia. Over 1 million people reported in Pakistan. The public are showing their disapproval of what is happening on the Gaza Strip. Let's keep in mind this beginning point, that the Muslims have been the faith group that have been subjected to the most hate crimes as of March 2023. With this in mind, some may find it strange that the Home Secretary described these marches in London, showing solidarity with the Palestinians, as hate marches. The reason why she described these marches as such is because of the chant being present from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
Loss of Jewish life since the Holocaust, chanting for the erasure of Israel from the map. To my mind, there's only one way to describe those marches. They are hate marches.
Last month, the Home Secretary also expressed her desires to keep the Jewish community safe in the UK. Some may find it strange that the Muslim community has not been given the same attention as the Jewish community in this regard. CCN can report an exclusive. In the last 2 weeks alone, 2 mosques in London were subjected to Islamophobic hate crimes. They were both attacked in quick succession. The first mosque being Masjid al-Zaytuna and the second mosque being Acton Mosque. Both mosques had red paint thrown over their mosque gates, resembling blood. These incidents were described by figures within the community as being upsetting and frightening for the local community, according to our source. A person may ask, why has the Home Secretary not spoken about this? Why has Rishi Sunak not spoken about this? Why is there specific focus towards one religious community and complete neglect and silence towards another, which is facing attacks as well? Though not given as much attention in policy, these recent events in Gaza have seen a direct increase in Islamophobic attacks in the Western world. A Home Office report reported earlier this year, in March of 2023, mentioned that 39% of all religiously motivated hate crimes are done towards Muslims, making the Muslims the most targeted faith group in England and Wales. In a shocking development, just on the morning of this report, while we're recording this morning, we received a report that one of the mosques mentioned in this video was attacked once again. We saw how in Illinois last month, a 71-year-old grown man stabbed a 6-year-old child, Wadi al-Fuyum, 26 times. What causes a grown man to stab a child 26 times? The 71-year-old killer of Wadi al-Fuyum was motivated by the ongoing Middle Eastern conflict involving Hamas and the Israelis, according to Will County's Sheriff's Office. The local community associates all of these crimes that are happening in recent weeks with the conflict taking place in the Middle East. It is in this light that UK activists, Muslim activists in the UK, are branding this type of rhetoric coming from the Home Secretary's mouth, describing these marches as hate marches, as being very provocative and dangerous in their nature, especially in such a volatile time where people's emotions are very high. Earlier this year, the Home Secretary described grooming gangs as being overwhelmingly of British Pakistani males against white English girls. This is not the type of language people would expect to hear from their Home Secretary. Some, like Cambridge professor James Orr, have portrayed pro-Palestinian marches as being as a result of internal migration. He tweeted something along the lines of, "Import Arab world, become Arab world." Pro-Palestinian activists respond to this type of language and mention that it creates an environment where Muslims are viewed as predators, as a pariah in British society, fueling Islamophobia. These depictions and characterizations remind us of the type of words that have been coming out of the mouths of Israeli politicians. For example, the likes of Yair Lapid. For him, pro-Palestinian protests are about protecting the right of Hamas to murder Jews. They don't love Palestinians, they hate Jews. Could be argued that no reasonable person would look at a march of 1 million people and come to the conclusion that these 1 million people, all of them, want to murder Jews. It simply does not make any sense. These comments and depictions and statements coming out of all of these different people, these narratives that are being pushed, not only frame pro-Palestinian activism as being anti-Semitic, they are also facilitating for Islamophobia to take place, essentially creating a climate where anti-Muslim attacks can continue to happen. Muslim activists are aggrieved, not only because of the proposed policy of the Home Secretary facilitating this lazy conflation between pro-Palestinian activism and anti-Semitism, but also because of the lack of focus and the lack of attention towards anti-Muslim hate crimes that continue to take place in the Western world.